Okay, so I have to put it on mute because HBO or Showtime or whoever shows True Blood, of course, will not allow me to let you listen. Oh no, please, no volume, you can't hear it. So Lafayette and Jesus are like getting high off of this True Blood, and I literally cannot turn away from this screen because they are the cutest couple. And I'm watching this for the second time because I literally, I was busy the first time it was on, but it's really intense. These two guys. I mean, the show is okay. It's a soap opera. The soap opera dialect, I mean, especially that Eric Norman character. That whole sort of theme is done just like a soap opera saga. But the stories around these two guys, it just get deeper and deeper. They're the most developed gay characters I've seen on screen. And I mean on any screen because you see this well, now over generations. You see these two gay boys, in this dream state where they're high. They're It's so funny. They're going to visit their grandparents. It's like not like they're like every day or going to visit their grandparents, and they go through this tour of their grandparents. I'm literally watching this now. I'm just watching. You watch their body language, how they communicate with one another, what they find interesting about one another. It's not just the scene, but the history that's built around them with the fabulous Ashley Woodward, who's just awesome, and all of her. She's an actress who still sings, and she waves at night. It's a powerful movie. Now this I have to pause this on because this is deep, but I have to watch this again. So first they go to Jesus's um, grandmother. And Jesus is the guy who's saving Lafayette from that. And so they just demonstrated like Lafayette has used his magic for something good to save somebody's life, even if they were, what he called a new level of trash. He saved that trashy girl's father's life. So you see that Jesus, this character, has in a sense saved Lafayette. And so um, they keep they do their thankless jobs. So Lafayette wasn't defeated by those people and their evil and their anger, the trashy people, but he's just said, that's them, let them have their pain and anger. But that guy has life because of his so-called magic. This is magic, as he says. And so the truth, the blood of vampires, it heals people. And so they decide to do it, to do some deed, they call it together. And so it's Alan Ball, I tell you. It's love some black people. They go to see Jesus's grandmother, I believe it was, because he knew that woman. So now they've gone to see one of Lafayette's ancestors. And it's a great, I think says great great grandmother. And this is deep. This is some stuff. This is some stuff where you would just have to know black people intimately to come up with this stuff. And when I say know intimately, I don't mean just know the circumstances of what I'm about to tell you about and what the scene is about, but to know, it would be important to see it in different ways. That we would want this when we say we want to be reflected on screen, and why it's important because it's so important that I had to stop and sit here and talk about it just because it's showing. I'm freeze framing of this slave woman, and it's an elder woman and a younger woman, and you see they're in some kind of dungeon looking, structure, and they're spreading something around the bed, and Jesus explains in this scene that it's Lafayette's great great something grandmother, and because of that powder, she never had to share her bed with her master. Now, anybody who's read Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, or anybody who's actually just kind of, sat down and thought about America, would have come to the conclusion that women being violated by men is the founding part of, I mean, we're not just talking Pocahontas, we're just talking the place of women in the very values of our forefathers, be it our slaves or our founding fathers, as we say. I mean, these were white land owning males. And so it's one of these things where art imitates life and you start to think you should. The importance of seeing yourself reflected on such screens is that more stories, more of the imagination is drawn out when you don't suppress looking at these images because think about why it's so revolutionary to see any of this, to see this particular slave narrative reflected in the mainstream film, to see these two particular characters reflected in a mainstream film. I mean, all of these things coming together, but it is fascinating to note that the the intersection of those lives draws out so much more um, to who we are as a people in America, how we live, survive. I mean, what it means to be, well, dare I say, what it means to be an American fully, not just the pieces and the parts, and not just the story that's told for and by and for the benefit of the white land owning male. Because here in the place where I sit right now, the same racial dynamics that are reflected then are gender dynamics and class dynamics are reflected now. So when I say plantation politics, you know, plantation politics. We're living in plantation politics here in 2010 in this city. What about your city? I was just talking to my little cousin um, about, you know, schools. She's a student. We're talking about schools. And she's going to continue to go to school for a while. So I'm going to encourage her to. And somehow we were mentioning like Central. We were talking about schools in Louisville, and we mentioned there's a Central High School. We talked about the really nice pools, the nicest pools that I've ever seen in Louisville, just shiny and Central. But I heard that pieces of Shiny's pool were filled up, so you can't really dive in anymore. So it's not quite all that the bomb pool anymore. And she said, "Is there a Central in every city?" I'm like, "Yeah." There's so many like it's not just that there are so many cities that have a central high school, but that American cities have a pattern. Central, Main, Main Street, Market Street, Broadway. I mean, we're pretty regular in our ways, both literally and figuratively, the plantation politics. And the fact that you can see this plantation politics in the grids of our cities, it should be mind blowing to you. Um, but hey, it's just to show is that America? Where's Bruce Springsteen?